Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carberra, and welcome to a slightly different video today. It is the 14th of July 2021, and so the channel turns 2 today. Carberra is 2 years old. I've been doing this for 2 years, and in the grand scheme of things, I've been making videos on YouTube for over 9 years, so it doesn't seem like a hugely long time. But these last 2 years have been kind of nuts, you know, especially the last single year where we got over 2,000 subscribers in 1 year. It's kind of mad, really, when you think about it. But I've always enjoyed behind the scenes videos on channels. Like I've seen Cinemassacres, I've seen some of Game Grumps, I've seen kind of a lot of channels behind the scenes, and I've always been really interested in that sort of stuff. So I thought I would do one myself. You know, I've done one in the past for my other channel I don't use anymore. So I thought I would do one for Carberra, specifically how a video is made from start to finish, because you know, that way it fits in with the whole meta tutorial thing, which I think is kind of funny as well. But yeah, we are starting all the way from the planning phase, and we are going all the way to editing. We're following the development of a video on decorators. I've literally just recorded the intro for that just now. I'd also like to say a huge thanks to my friend Ed, who actually came around and helped me record some of the stuff. He did the recording for the 1,000 subscriber video as well, so you've seen him before on the channel. But yeah, I want to give him another thank you for that. Of course, if you like the video and want to see more like it, then consider giving it a like, because it'd be interesting to do more stuff like this. I've been meaning to do stuff like this for a little while, but I never got around to it. So if you want to see more, then do hit that like button, because that does let me know. And if you want to see that decorators video as well, then make sure you subscribe if you're not already, so you don't miss it. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So this is actually kind of quite a new setup. As people know, I only switched to WSL recently. The video I did talking about WSL will actually go up after this one. So this is the first video with this setup. As you can see, it's now complete, it's now all pretty and everything, and I'll get everything working. It does still use Linux in the back end, of course, so nothing's really changed. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the desktop is all very pretty. But yeah, I've already loaded, you know, I've already gone and done the stuff in here that I need to do, and okay, I don't know what that was, but we'll just continue, and we've already got the ID up actually. Good old Visual Studio Code. We have the Vimp here. This is in the planning directory, so none of the plans actually end up on GitHub most of the time. A lot of times when I do plans, I end up, well, with the series, I do it on streams, because that way, you know, I can get feedback from other people if they like a particular idea, or they can help me out on something I'm stuck with. But for individual videos, especially ones as simple as this one, that's not really necessary. So we can pretty much just create a new file here and call it decorators.py. And now I just kind of sit down and think about what to actually do, you know, what the best way of demonstrating this is. So I'm not going to really sit here and talk you through it. I'm just going to speed along to the end of it, and then I'll see you on the other side. Okay, cool. So that seems to be good. You know, I've got an example. You know, I actually have the decorator here. I have, you know, an example of something happening before and then something happening after. I have an example of just a normal function with no arguments at all, and then I have one where you pass arguments in as well, and you have all this stuff here too. So I think that would probably do. You know, it's only really a simple rundown that I'm trying to do. So normally the plans happen quite a bit before the recording, because I normally plan a huge amount in one go. But since I'm just doing one video for this, it'll just be straight from the plan into the recording itself. So when I'm recording, I normally have OBS and Audacity open side by side. They'd normally be on my second screen, but obviously I want to actually, you know, record this bit, so I'm just kind of keeping them on the primary screen for now. As you can see, I've got OBS recording my microphone at the moment, because there is some stuff I want to show you in the way I use Audacity, but you can't play Audacity projects while another one is recording, so I'm having to do it this way. Yay! So basically what I would do is I'd actually normally start the voice recording first and then start the video recording, but you know, I'll just start the voice recording now. And what I'd normally do is I get a noise sample at the start, but I'd talk a bit to begin with to give myself a bit of a preview. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is the Python decorators how-to thingamabob noise sample. As you can see there, that gets the noise, just the background noise, so I can get rid of stuff on my computer. And then because it's at the start, I kind of know where it is, so I could just go like whoop, and then hit the noise cancelling. I normally do a sync as well, so I normally open the File Explorer or something for that, and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just simple as that. It used to be a lot more complicated. I remember back in the day where I used to like, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I used to do all of that. And I just gave up on that at the end. I don't know why I ever went that far with it. But you know, what can you do? So if I stop this for a second, I can at least show you. Actually, no, I'll show you how I noise cancel when I edit, won't I? Yeah, so the actual, I can move this over to the side now. And then normally with the plan is open in Sublime on my other screen, so you can see this is what we had in the planning. I normally have this open on my other screen as well, so I can kind of see what I've done. For some reason Sublime 4 just doesn't take like font configurations very well, so I'm just using the standard font. But you know, it is what it is. I could probably actually make it a bit more colourful as well, can't I? There we go. Hey, there we go. So yeah, I'll just have this kind of on the side as I'm doing. You may have heard me reference my notes a few times in videos in the past, especially in the most recent Discord.py music ones, because I kind of needed the notes to keep up with where the hell I was at. But yeah, this also goes over here, so this goes on top of everything else. And then you just have the screen clear. And what I can do is I can do that, and then it would be CD tutorials, make the how to Python, and then CD go into it, and then get rid of that, then make a new one. Kind of the same thing as you did before. Load the terminal, not the terminal, the editor. And I've already pre-scaled it up. So I'd normally have it like this, but in videos you just hit Control and then equals or the plus, and it makes it a bit bigger. You can make it as big as you want, but I don't make it too big. I just have it one bigger. That seems to keep everyone satisfied. And then, you know, I go into the actual recording itself. So I'm going to do that now. I'll once again just speed through it all, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so that's the video done. It took about 8 minutes, as you can see from the waveform. I am recording this bit using OBS again, but we're doing this. It's going to be rough to edit this particular video with all these different things scattered around. Normally, after recording one video, I'll record the next. I tend to do recordings in batches of at least 3, sometimes 2, sometimes more, but generally I do videos in 3s. But as I'm just kind of showing you how to do one video, or only doing one video today. But after the recording, actually comes recording the intro. So I actually record the intro after I do the video. I find that just makes it easier, because you can then kind of work out what to put in the intro based on what you already said in the recording. In my mind, it just makes it easier. I don't necessarily know why that is. Who knows? But yeah, with that, that's the recording all done. And the next thing I tend to do is the introductions. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole process of setting up the intro sequence, because it does take a little while. But I will show you the individual components that I use, kind of what it looks like when it's all together. And then I've got like a little bit showing you what it looks like when I'm actually recording. So I'm going to jump over to me, kind of talking about all these different things. So the first thing is the tripod. This is actually what holds the phone. It's not in there at the moment, but you can see kind of a little bit at the top. That's where the phone will go. And this just kind of sits in front of me, and it allows, the camera to be stable. The next thing is the light ring, which sits right in the corner of my room where not a lot of light is normally. And this just kind of lights my face in one direction, so you can see me a lot better. And this is my webcam. Now, interesting enough, this is actually the other light that I use, because you see that whole white face there? That is all a light, so I can just turn it on, it lights the other side of my face perfectly. It generally sits on my desk, and you get a fairly even coverage out of it, to be honest. Of course, when you have all these lights, you need a way to power them, and instead of taking up a load of plug sockets, I instead use this power pack. They're both USB powered, so you can just plug them into the pack and away you go. Of course, no setup would be complete without this trusty mic. I use it now, I'm using it through all the videos, and I use it in the intros as well. The boom arm actually makes it quite easy to kind of put it quite close to me actually and record the audio, so I just use that for doing it as well. And this is what it all looks like when it's stitched together, so you can see the chair, the microphone and the phone actually in the tripod this time recording, and you have the lights on either side. You see the light ring over there and the webcam over there. The webcam is pretty bright, so you get some good coverage out of both of them. And the mic is in that desk just about. You had to open a drawer slightly, but yeah, it looks good on camera, so what does it matter? But now that the intros are done, we can move on to the next step in this video's journey, which is the editing. So I will cut back to my computer with DaVinci Resolve open, which is the program I use to do the editing, and I will walk you through how I do that there. And we're here in the editing booth. As I said before, I use DaVinci Resolve to do my editing. It's basically free. Well, it is free if you get the free version, of course. And it's actually a really powerful editor, and I'm going to be, showing you how I edit my videos together. So I have actually got two screens. So if I hit F2, you should be able to see the laptop screen. OBS has got like a little yellow outline over what it's doing now, so that's actually really useful to have. If you come back to the second one, so the first thing we need to do is actually import all of our stuff. So in this case, we want to actually go back to the series, how to Python, and go to assets and then bring in intros and recording. And there is the intro file there that we got, and then the actual recording file. This includes the intros for this video and also the kind of the little prelude I did for this. So we're gonna have to edit that out, but we should be fine. But before we do anything with that, we actually need to go into Audacity. And we need to open, hang on, we need to go into the File Explorer. And then we need to do some audio editing. So we have the actual, the video, or the recording in here. There we go. But of course, what the hell is it doing? That was weird. Of course, as I showed before, we have this little bit of noise sampling to do, so we can, we can't play this right now because we're recording something else on Audacity. But this is the bit that I did the noise sample in. This is just a bit of context in what the video is, and everything after is everything after. So we can affect noise reduction. These settings are fine for what I use. I generally record at quite a low volume and then turn the volume up in editing because I find it's easier to get rid of the background noise that way. So you get a noise profile like that. Control A to select the entire thing. Effect noise reduction and hit OK. And then just wait for that to process. This can take a little while depending on the size of the file. This is only like a 15 or 20 minute file or something. So not a big one. Actually, I think isn't it like 11 minutes something? I don't know. The home and the end aren't working for some reason. Yeah, it's 11 minutes 38. And then after we do that, we need to export it. That's kind of the only thing. So I just export it as a WAV. Yeah, that's my WSL2. I've got to find the how to Python, and we go to assets, which is kind of where I end up putting everything. Well, it's where I put everything final. I have all my video, my audio in the assets folder, and then I have the projects in a separate folder to keep them all separate. Save the project folder, closing. Switch back to the second screen and import the file there as well. Okay, so I had to do a cut. I realized I hadn't processed the introduction audio, and then in doing that I switched the screen to the second screen like so, and I never actually switched it back, so I just did about 3 minutes of doing stuff without you knowing anything about it. But I'm going to start with the intro. Thankfully I didn't get too far in. I would have been awful if I did the whole thing. Every now and then something like that happens. We're going to bring the intro file in like this. And then we are going to, I've already recolored the timelines. They normally come in blue and green, but I always recolor them. So you can go in and do it like this. as far as I can tell, there isn't a default way of doing it, or a way of making it like that by default. I don't know. We delete the audio track that comes with the footage because we have our own audio track captured by the microphone that is there, or it is actually in shot for this. Oh well, doesn't matter. I don't care enough. And then we've got to ramp this up to 10. Noise sample for so it's a bit easier. Kind of the actual intros for the thing. If you listen closely, you can't really hear any background noise other than the little creak we had. And this is me doing the sync, so I've got to zoom out a bit and then move that over somewhat. And that is where the clap happened in the audio. So we go to the first frame, which seems to be that one. And then we drag this over until I actually do the clap. I think I've done it by now. I think I've skipped it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that was me doing the clap. There we go. So that is the frame there that my hands make contact. So if you play that now, sync. Take 2 on there. We can see that it's all synced up. So that's good. I did take a few takes on the intro, so you can see here. Hey guys, my name's Ethan. And then again here. Hey guys, my name's Ethan. But it was actually the second take that went fine, so we're going to cut that right at the start. Get rid of that footage. And then because I actually have the intros for the other videos here, I think it's this one. Hey guys, my name's Ethan, this is Carberra, and welcome to a slightly... Yes, so we just cut it there. I need that in a separate project, but because I essentially just did the intros for this video while I was actually doing it, while I had everything set up, because it takes a long time to set up, as you saw in the intro section. But now that we have the actual footage, I tend to do the recoloring now. So this frame is actually quite a good one to use for it. Make a new node using Alt-S. And from here we can start making changes. So as you can see right now, everything's a bit too bright. I'm too light in the camera. Everything's just too bright. So we could probably start turning the shadows and that down. You can see already that is quite a bit better. Maybe the highlights as well. The highlights might need to stay up. Essentially, I literally just screw around with these settings until I find something that's good. So I could generally bringing the color temperature down makes everything look a bit cleaner, and then you can do a color boost on the other end to kind of void that. So you can see the colors are kind of popping more right now. Let's see if the lift does anything, because it's still there we go. That's done a bit better. We bring the gain down as well. There we go. And I don't know if it's quite done yet, but if I just compare the two, you can see that everything is now just slightly less washed out. There's a bit more color in the shot. I think there probably needs to be a bit more actually. Can I get this node, please? Thank you. A bit more color, maybe a bit of extra saturation, not that much though. And then probably bring the lift up on the whites, or maybe push it down a bit. There we go. And generally what I do is I have no idea what MD stands for, but if you push it down, you'll see it kind of blurs the footage a bit, so it gives it this dreamy feel. I normally have it on like somewhere around here. So this is what it is normally. So you can start to kind of see the edges and stuff. And if I bring it down like that, you see everything's kind of a little bit blurrier, but not really in a way that is bad. It's just more. Just gets the colours across a little bit more, and it kind of smooths everything out, which is kind of nice. Gives a nice little effect. So if I now compare these two, you see this one is pretty washed out, and it's not a huge change here, but the colours have just been brought out a little bit more. I might turn the MD down a bit actually, but the overwhelming brightness has been reduced. The colours are a bit more. If I just bring this up. Maybe a bit more actually. Something like that. Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carberra, and welcome to the video. Right? Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, what a freeze frame. But now essentially it's just a matter of how to use decorators in Python. Of going through and kind of cutting everything down. So I don't know how many attempts I took at this second bit. Because decorators are especially useful. They're used in a lot of places. I generally speed through footage when I'm actually editing. we go. So did I try that again?
On top of this, you can also get.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, this is already my second attempt, I think. On this because I screwed up the first one. I had Audacity open in the background on this screen, so
Prettier. On top of this, you can.
The number of times I've done that.
Get
that was an outtake there. So I could just cut that out as well. Whoops. And I think you get the idea of what I'm going for. So I'm just going to quickly speed through the rest of the intro and edit that together. And there we go, that is our intro done. So you can see we made a few cuts here, nothing too drastic. After we have the intro, it's then time to do the transition. Now, transition is actually really simple. It's literally just this tutorials picture here. It's just a gradient here. And I grab this and go 20 frames on, cut it, get rid of it. And then I bring in the actual video, and then I've got to find the start of this as well. So again, we do the same sync, so I don't actually need this, do I? I don't think I need this for this bit. Because I did the little prelude for the recording to show you how I did it, and then I actually went straight into it, which was probably a bit of a mistake on my part. So I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, this is the actual
where the sync goes. Did I even do one? Oh, please tell me I did one. Oh, I don't think I did one. Or did I do it right at the start? Oh, you know what? I did it here, and then I didn't do one for the actual video. Oh dear. Alright, well, give me a second to work out where it's supposed to be. Okay, so in situations where I don't sync it up, I normally use some sort of other cue. So I've kind of got it roughly in the right place. But you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit enter here, and you can compare the sound where it is in the actual thing. Here, actually call it a decent name like that. And you can see that the video is slightly behind the audio at the moment. So we need to bring the audio a little bit, not that far, maybe about 14 frames seems decent. Just say create a standard function here. Actually call it a decent name like that. And there we go, that seems alright. Return. Just have it print this is a normal function. You know, it's a perfectly normal function. Right now. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so now we can actually Visual Studio. Go back to the start of the video. So we here. And I'm going to turn this back down so I can listen to it and talk at the same time. We're going to cut the footage around here. Yeah, this is a slightly different video than normal, so that's why I messed it up a little bit. I don't think we need the audio recording on this. Do we ever need it? We do at the end. I think that's for the out bit, so we don't need this at all. So we can bring this up here and bring this over to where we have the intro here. So now I can actually do the intro. So what I normally do is I come over to here and I look through my effects. So I have some favorite effects here: cross dissolve, some other cross dissolves, a Gaussian blur, and an edge wipe. I need to reorder these because these are in the wrong order. But I'm going to grab this edge wipe and place it here. So if I switch back to the other screen, you'll see that I've placed it there. And we're going to grab another edge wipe and do the same thing here. We're also going to stretch this out, and then we're going to grab an audio fade out, and we're going to stretch this to the end of here. So that basically just makes the transition between the two a little bit smoother. And now, because they're already at the right duration, because I set that in the actual project settings, so it's 10 frames each, I now need to set the angle. I think this one is 270.
And so let's get into it. And so
yeah, that looks about right. So as you can see, that the actual transition is not very complicated at all, and so it's just kind of really easy to stitch together. And now that we have this, I generally just kind of skim through the video on 2x speed, and I'll come back to you if I see anything that I need to edit. Okay, that was one. So as you can see, there's quite a big gap here that I don't want there. So, and I normally do a big breath after I finish this sentence, which is very annoying. So I normally have to cut out like quite early, so about there, and then cut in about there. Guess what? I'll get rid of that. Future episode.
But essentially, decorators
and there you go. That's a lot smoother.
That's because we haven't implemented any extra functionality here. So essentially, what we're doing
Oh, that was a big hit.
So essentially, what in here? So essentially, implemented any extra functionality now, and that's because we haven't.
That was a big hit. Okay, I'm actually I'm gonna say that was intentional, so it gives me the opportunity to show like audio stuff. So, and that's because that's a big hit. Wow. So I'm gonna kind of go in here, set a keyframe, and then I'm gonna.
And that's because
I could put maybe another one there, and then kind of put this down to like 0. This one down to 0 just to kind of null that effect. Oh, hello. We need to do other ones. So I need to do kind of one like here and set this one to 0. And then go to this one here. Go maybe like a few frames or whatever and set that to 0 as well. See if that's actually...
And that's because we haven't implemented any...
Okay, yeah, that's a lot better than it was. You know, just kind of...
And that's because we haven't...
I still hit the microphone pretty hard. I could probably tone it down, but it's not gonna like scare the crap out of someone. At that sort of volume, it's not a pleasant noise, but you know.
And that's because we haven't implemented any extra functionality in here.
It's a fairly obvious edit, but I think it's one that needs to be done. So I'll just continue skimming through it now.
Quags, and then we could...
Well, that was something loud outside.
Take anything. So what we can do...
What is that?
We can do star args, star quags.
And how did I not hear that while I was recording? Is that a jet plane or something?
And now...
That was weird. Okay, so we're pretty much at the end now. I can't really do anything about that. You know, I think it was some sort of trolley that was coming through. Fortunately, I can't really do much about that. I'll just have to stay in the video. Everyone was being really loud around, so I had to make some concessions. But yeah, we are pretty much at the end of this video now. You see, there's not a huge amount to do. There's only kind of the outro section. So this is kind of where more of the editing is going to come in.
There are none at all.
So I'm going to cut there.
So that is the basic...
Because I messed that bit up.
Basic...
And I just cut that there, and then it should be good to the end.
So that is the basic
concept
behind everything.
Okay. So this is quite a new one. This whole
screen now.
This on-screen now thing. So I go to the now, and then I split the video track, and then I bring in the text from this screen. So I bring in this one here, onto here, place it there, change the font to Fira Sans, and then I actually apply a Gaussian blur to this. And I don't actually edit the Gaussian blur. I think the default settings are good enough. And I also apply a cross dissolve here and a cross dissolve here. And that overall gives us this effect.
Now, £1 a month, you could be...
Pretty nice effect. But of course, basic title isn't really what you want. And this goes, actually, how far does this video go?
To that.
Okay, so the video ends there. The video ends there, but let's think, is this any...
Okay,
cool. You don't need that bit. So I could bring that kind of... I will put the Patreon names in, but I'm just kind of getting the... Again, this thing. So we advance 20 frames to 30, cut that and put it there. And then, we'll put the end slate in, why not? Select it, Control D, 20 colon, sets it to 20 seconds. Which is what I have it at. And then I put the edge wipes in there, and these ones are set to 90 degrees, so these ones actually go the other way around. That. And then that allows the end slate, because the end slate goes like bo bo bo. It goes in over across there. Bring this over to the transition. We have a cross dissolve there.
Forward to that.
So you end up with that transition there. And then on this one, I can't remember. I think I'll go a second from the start of this, if I remember correctly. I might be slightly wrong about that, but I suppose it doesn't matter too much. Then we bring that over to there.
Forward to that.
And then we have that audio fade out, which makes it a little bit nicer. And then the end slate goes all the way out over to here. So now we need to actually get the names of the patrons. And yes, I do actually handle the rest of the outro before I handle the rest of the intro. We've still got the music to do. I tend to do that last. So this, just go into Firefox, go into Finances, go into Patreon. Remind myself in editing to blur out anything sensitive, if there is anything sensitive. I don't actually know if there is anything sensitive, to be honest. Go into Patrons, go into Relationship Manager. And, thank you to all these lads. I'll blur out your emails, don't worry about that. I'll blow all of this out, to be honest. And then we hit the CSV button, and then we can download a CSV. And we're going to have to blur a lot of this stuff out as well. We can copy that. And we can close that now because we don't need it anymore. And we can select video here and then paste that in here and get rid of the extraneous space. And then just to make it pop a little bit more, I do stroke of 2. So as you can see, this is what the actual list looks like. I'd like to thank my amazing patrons are on so now screen. You can now, see £1 a month you can be on that screen too. That's what the effect looks like, and on the other end, yeah, it fades out, and then you get the nice little thing and then the thing at the end. So that's pretty much all the text, at least for now. At this point, I actually go back and do the music, and I start with the intros for that. So the intro music, I generally just pick something random from a music library. So I have all of this stuff here. A caring friend. Oh my, that was loud. Oh my god. That scared the crap out of me. But this one here, caring friend, is the one I almost always use for my outros nowadays. I just really like it, and you have this little thing. It was actually inspired by Michael MJD, who kind of does the same thing, and then the music picks up once the actual end slate hits. It's a really nice effect, so that's why I use that one. I don't know which song I feel like using today. I'm going to move the microphone over so you can hear me better while I look. Which one haven't I used in a while? Yeah, to be honest, if you're not sure, then Noir et Blanc V is a good one to go for. Before I forget to switch the scene back again, so I went with this track. We're going to pull it over, switch to this screen now. Oh my god, I keep doing that. I'm going to go solo for a while. I'm also going to turn it down because it's going to be loud. You see, there's kind of a little gap there, so I'm going to get rid of that. Move it in there. I'm also going to reduce the volume of the track by 30 decibels. So as you can hear... Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carberra, and welcome to the... that's pretty nicely balanced. Some songs you have to turn it up a little bit more, some songs you actually have to turn it down a bit more. But you just kind of go song by song, and you just feel it out as you go. So then we head over to here, and where the actual intro changes into the recording, I go shift and then with the right arrow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to move it 5 seconds across. Delete that, and then I put a cross dissolve here, and I pull that over to make 5. This may seem pretty extra, to be honest, but I am a perfectionist. I've always cared about my presentation. Things have to be presented right. Otherwise, I just don't work with it. But if you listen now... Into it. And so we are in Visual Studio Code this time. I thought, seeing as we're moving on to more... It fades out, and it fades out kind of quite smooth. It doesn't just go... and it's over. So now we have the difficulty monitor. So I tend to put that, kind of align that in the same place. And that comes in a second after the transition happens. So that's got to come in a bit closer, actually. And then pull that over, get rid of that. Change the font. I don't think there's a way to set a default font either, which is very annoying. So this, I would say, it's a difficulty of intermediate. It's not an especially complex example of the concept, but the concept itself it's not a basic concept. So it goes in intermediate, so I put intermediate there. And then I have to align it in the corner, so I normally leave the font size the same, but I hit... this button to anchor it to the bottom and this button to anchor it to the right, and then I do 1870 across and then 50 down, and that sticks it in the corner. And then just throw a few cross dissolve transitions on there, and you end up with kind of a series of events that looks a little bit like this. And so we are in Visual Studio Code this time. I thought, seeing as we're moving on to more intermediate topics, we'd move on to... Look how good that looks! Oh, I love it. I love it so much. It's always so satisfying. It's a lot of work, but it is 100% worth it just for the satisfaction. And it's really good. But that's the intro actually sorted now. So now we can go and do the rest of the outro, because we haven't quite finished it yet, because we need to put our outro song in. Now, as I said before, I don't know if I want to cut it out. As I said before, I use A Caring Friend by Bad Snacks as the outro song because it has this little bit in the middle. If I give it a solo, real quick, it it has this little bit here. So I normally, you know, I line it up with this transition here. It was already pretty well lined up to begin with. And I set the whole track to -30, same as always. And then I go here, put a keyframe here. At the end of the transition, put a keyframe here, set this to -5. And that brings up, you know, the volume of the track. I probably don't have to do that. But that's just kind of the way I've gone to do it. And now, you know, oh, it's actually still on a solo. But it's quiet here, so look forward to that. And then it comes in loud at the end, and then I always seem to forget to do this. Have to actually go here, get rid of that, put a cross dissolve for 2 seconds on that, so it fades out nice. It also ends in the same, it's like perfect on my outros, it is crazy. So that kind of just starts randomly. About what you've seen here, then feel free to started there. It doesn't really matter where exactly it starts. I think the first time I used it, I did actually edit the song, and I had it fade in at a specific point in my commentary. Nowadays, I just don't bother. It sounds better if you just kind of let it start wherever it goes. There's just one more thing left to do with this, and this is a very recent thing I started doing. So a second in. I put, as well as putting the patron names, which is also quite a new thing in the video, I also put the song titles in the video as well. So I changed, actually I can change these both at once. I changed this, and this just saves me from having to do it in the description. So if I ever need to change the descriptions later, I don't have to like rewrite all of it. Or just overwrite a load, because that's just really annoying to do. And I generally change these to 60 because these can be quite big. And then, oh god, I can never quite remember how I do this, but I'm pretty sure that's 100 and then 50. I think that looks about right. And then this one's the intro music, so we come back up here and we'd say intro music. That actually needs to be, oh, it is aligned in the center, fantastic. And then what was it in the intro? Oh, the only problem with using Noir Blanc V is that every single song name they use just makes no sense. So this is, oh come on, here you go. So True Art Real Affection Part 4 by Noir Blanc V, and that is taken up a huge amount, so I'm going to put on a third line, which I don't normally like to do, whatever. And then we've got the outro music, and that is always going to be A Caring Friend by Bad Snacks, and then that kind of sits, that gets anchored over here and also at the bottom. That gets, I think, 1820, so minus 100 essentially, and then 50 to put it in the same place. And I don't know if that annoys, I know I've done this once before, I don't know if that annoys people, so I might just do that. Make it a bit nicer. And then you have the cross dissolves in there, and you go to the end, where you actually kind of stretch them out. Unfortunately, you can't stretch them out at the same time, which is kind of irritating. And then I tend to give them the cross dissolve as well. That's gone very. It's the only problem with having like quite small transitions. You can't see where they've gone in. Oh, it's because I'm trying to use an audio transition on a video track. And then bring that one in as well. And then I actually align this to the audio one, so 120 frames or 2 seconds. So you end up with kind of an outro sequence like this. So look forward to that. And then you have, so bu bu bu, and then there's a little pause and a bu, which is kind of cool. And then at the end, it fades out as the music fades out. So that is all the editing that I normally do on a video. It is quite a lot to actually work with sometimes. It's not going to be anywhere near as bad as the video you're currently watching is going to be, but as you can see, generally it's not that bad. You know, there's this huge stretch here which is just fine without any edits at all, and that happens quite a bit, which is kind of why videos can be edited quite quickly. So I actually timed it somewhat recently on a batch of 3 videos I did, and it had all these intros and it had the outros. It didn't have the outro text, but it had everything else. It didn't have the Patreon text either. But it took a little over 3 hours to get the videos recorded, to get the intros recorded, and to get them edited, and to get them uploaded, and the descriptions all sorted and everything. So basically, from not even existing at all to having everything in place on YouTube took 3 hours on 3 videos, and they were, I think, about 10 or 15 minutes each. So it's not too long-winded. It's just kind of a lot with the intro and the outro, but I really enjoy kind of setting all these things up, so I don't mind it. And I think overall, like the actual, like the quality of the videos that I actually end up making with this has been massively increased from even like half a year ago. Most people come in from the Discord.py updated series, and I'm still using the old microphone, so they're gonna get a shock when the new one comes out. As I said, that is all the editing I need to do. I then just go into this deliver tab here, set it to MP4, give it network optimization, restrict to 20,000 kilobits per second because it doesn't need any more than that. This video might have a bit higher. I might do like a proper job on this one. And then the audio and the video is fine. And then I just hit add to render queue, and it kind of prompts me on the screen for something to call it. So I'll just go in here, videos, be series, how to Python. It'll just go in here. So it'll be, pretty much decorators, how to Python. Sorry, I'm not going to split them into intermediate as advanced. I'm just going to have them like that. That goes in the render queue. I hit render all, and it just renders them all out, ready to go. So next thing to do is the thumbnail. So what I can do, I can just kind of go casually into that. I have a thumbnail template that I'm going to use for this. It's specifically the one in this branding. This branding folder is a complete mess. I really need to sort this out. But it's thumbnail 1. I can never remember which one it is. It might be the wrong one. I think it is the wrong one, actually. Yep, god damn it. This is it had the old logo. I never actually changed it on the other one. But if I were to do a thumbnail with this, all I need to do is, change the background, change this, and then change the number. And that's pretty much it. Everything else just kind of stays the same. But the one I wanted to load up was thumbnail 2. And this is a WSL thumbnail. It is quite the thing. I'm not amazingly happy with it, but I couldn't. Everything else I tried just looked awful. So we're just going to get rid of all this crap that's here. And we're going to start again with our How to Python. Now, the How to Python series will have its kind of theme around it. So what I can do is I can bring in... no, I want to open as layers actually. Control-Shift-O. That's offset layer. Control-Alt-O. That's the one. Git. Not Git. GIMP. Keybinds are a bit weird sometimes. So branding, I have brand assets here, and this is where I just have a load of icons. So I have Python 1 here already. Bring that in, that would be part of the center. Kind of resize that to, I don't really know, maybe like 200 or something. So I kind of know what I want to do with it. I kind of want to align, there we go, align with Q, and then align that in the middle like that. And I want to have some text layers not in white and not at 200 point, maybe like 75 point or something. With How to Python, okay, that is going to be way too big. Okay, so I was originally going to have it at the side. It's also the wrong color. Oh no, it's because it's behind the mask. Have there. I know you can set the opacity, but having the mask tends to just work better if you have like a background image or something. Now I'm going to move that up. I've spelled Python wrong. How to Python. And should that be in bold? Should it be in bold? I like it in bold. And I just have another one down here saying decorators, and actually use the Rave Party font for once. So the How to Python, we can kind of use kind of guides to get that in the right place. So 1, 2, 3 looks fine, and then align that in the center. And the same with the decorators. Whoops. To kind of get it kind of aligned as I'd want it. As I said, I'm very particular about stuff. I always have been, and as far as I'm concerned, I always will be. So cool, that looks good so far. So now all we really need is a background image. So I'm going to go find one of those. Generally go on miscellaneous and then Pixabay, and then just search words until I find something that looks good. So I guess we'll start with programming. You know, a few of these look alright. See, I imagine this is just going to give us some snakes. Yeah. I don't know if this would be a good one to... I don't know whether having like an actual python in the background would be because I remember when I put a whale in the sky in the background on something. I think I think having an actual python might be quite good, like as a meta thing. I quite like that one, but I'm not sure how well it would work in the thumbnail. To be honest, I do kind of like this one. I'll give it a shot. I generally just like when I'm making a new thumbnail, I generally just kind of screw around and see what works. Sometimes thumbnails take me forever to do. Because that's behind the mask and it's still that bright. Wow, I'm actually kind of amazed at that. That's not going to be anywhere near big enough. 720, like that, and then scale, and then Q. Oh, the Q isn't going to work on that, is it? Oh, there we go. If I have it over there, it'll work. That does look a bit odd, so I might get a different picture of a snake. Maybe kind of one of the ones where it's like bundled up. That might work. I do kind of want its face in it. Well, actually, this one... this one's kind of got like a dark background to it. I might... I might have a play around with this. I'll cut it out so you're not bored to death. But I'll see how this looks. I actually kind of like that. I kind of like the sort of slightly odd, abstract thumbnails that I've been going for recently. I kind of like these ones. So I'm going to go with that because you have the Python logo up here and then you have a good like Python image down here. That works, and you have the little corner up there. I like that. I do like that. I think I'm going to use that. So yeah, welcome to the thumbnail design process. Yeah, sometimes I just have some of these weird ideas and they just kind of work in very fun ways. But I have kind of this, I have the project file kind of per series, and then I, is it Control-Shift-E? Yeah, it is. And then I go and then, oh, this is actually going to be fine. So decorators, I've got to like sort this out at some point. The how to Python is a bit of a mess in terms of the files, but there you are. So yeah, that's the thumbnail creating process, and that's pretty much it. All that's left to do is go onto the YouTube studio and upload it. Now, I wasn't originally going to do this, but I did accidentally say that I was going to in the outro, and I don't want it to be wrong. So hey, this is my old account. This is the one I actually watch YouTube on. I need to change it at some point. This is a dashboard, and then you can just go into content and you can see. And pretty much everything is, we've got these, I think, yeah, these two are still scheduled. Ooh. And you've got some streams that I still need to process. It's fine, it's fine. You just go up to create, upload videos. It's generally easier, I find, to kind of just go here. I say it's generally easy because you're generally in the right place. Oh no, we haven't rendered the video yet, have we? That was the thing. Yeah, you drop it in there and you sort out descriptions. I don't think I need to show that bit off. Yeah, that video is now ready to go. So, yeah, that is pretty much everything I need to talk about. But I'm going to cut over to a proper outro where I do, well, a proper outro, I guess. So I will cut back to face me to finish the video. And that's it. That's how a Carberra video is made. Well, I say and that's it. There is quite a lot of steps to it nowadays. It was a bit easier back in the day before I actually had any sort of professionalism. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed kind of the little behind the scenes look at kind of what I do and what I go through to make videos. Because there is quite a lot, but it is a lot of fun to do this. I do enjoy doing it. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't. And I feel as though I've made a lot of progress with myself and my, video production and all that stuff, especially over the last year, especially over the last kind of 3 or 4 months even, since February when I kind of started the new rebrand and everything. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone for the last 2 years, especially the people that have been here right near the start. because there are still some people in my Discord server that have been there really from the very start, and it's kind of mad that you're still around. But even anyone that's joined really recently, I still really appreciate you because you've been part of this cool journey of mine, and I hope you continue to be in the future. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. I want to say a huge thank you to the patrons on screen now for the support. £1 a month and you can be on this screen too. I will probably have an outtakes video on the Patreon. Not necessarily early access. If you just put in the £1, you'll get access to it. So you can just kind of pay the £1 and leave. I don't mind. But I'll let you know when that goes up specifically, so you kind of know when to join, so you don't get double charged or anything. But yeah, I don't really have a plan to end this video, so I guess I'll just say see you next time. Bye.